This week, we leave the safety of Croatia's islands behind and break our biggest rule since becoming parents at sea, crossing open water with a baby on board. So we did make it.
Barely.
But it was a pretty harrowing experience.
But we learned to listen. Rules are not meant to be broken.
Yeah, there was a reason we had the rules, so why not do that again? Not immediately anyway.
What are you looking at?
The passage that we might all want to take from Croatia to Italy.
I thought that the number one sailing rule was no long passages with a baby.
Yes, that is a new rule and an important rule. But thinking about it, now we're in Cortula, for you to get across to Vieste in Italy, you're going to have to catch a bus to the other end, a ferry to Dubrovnik, probably a taxi to the airport, plane to Bari, then you need to get from Bari to Vieste somehow.
That sounds hectic.
Hectic, right? Really hectic. And this time of year, the connections are terrible. It'll probably take several days. You've got a baby, stroller, bags.
Okay, well, long passage is now a bit more tempting.
Right? It's probably 13 hours, 70 nautical miles. And while not ideal, she's got a cabin she can sleep in. She's got her toys, her books. We're all going to be together and we're going to all be there in under a day.
What about the wind? We had some pretty terrible winds. Winds coming from the south, which is where we're headed.
Yeah, right. That's true. Right now we're getting blown away from Italy.
And I don't want to be in the swell and the wind for 13 plus hours.
No, agreed. That would make it pretty miserable. We would need a really nice weather window. But if we got that, if these winds did shift around, and I'm sure eventually they will, and we're getting blown to Italy, I really think it's worth considering.
What do you think?
The Sirocco wind continues to blow fiercely from the south, so we spend the week checking our safety gear and waiting for the winds to shift in our favour. Eventually the wind begins to ease and swing around to the north. On Friday afternoon, we haul anchor and set sail for the remote island of Lastovo. So it looks like we're doing it. We're going to make the crossing to Italy together. The weather's turned, so after quite a grey and windy week, we've got clear blue skies and gentle breeze that shifted around to the north, so it's blowing us toward Italy. Today we'll sail 4 hours to the outer island of Lastovo, and then from there we can make the crossing to Italy tomorrow. The forecast is for a moderate swell and fairly moderate breeze, which is again blowing us in the right direction, so hopefully we'll make for a quick crossing and it won't be too uncomfortable. So fingers crossed it goes well. We moor for the night at a solitary restaurant on the eastern edge of the Lastovo National Park.
Three weeks ago, we set off for our fourth season aboard Whisper. When we decided to return to our sailboat with a baby in tow, we knew things had to change. What once felt like adventure, sailing into unknown anchorages or pushing through squalls, now felt a little reckless.
We spent the winter doing our homework and rethinking our approach to life aboard. Once we got back to the boat, we set about preparing for life aboard with a little one. And part of that was adjusting the spoken and unspoken rules we've slowly been developing for sailing over the last 3 seasons. Since getting underway, we've done a really good job of sticking to those rules as we've slowly sailed down the coast of Croatia.
The biggest shift we've had to make this season is prioritizing safety and comfort above everything else. So not speed, not schedule, and certainly not budget, which we, or at least I, had prioritized in the past.
I think I'm probably more guilty of the push-through mentality, always wanting to see if we can get just a few more nautical miles, if there's a little bit of daylight left or if we've got a little bit of gas in the tank. This season trying to focus on short passages or having backup anchorages along the way and pulling up earlier rather than later.
And also being more cautious about the weather. So if the weather's predicting more than 20 knots, we're headed to shelter.
The other thing we're trying to do is be more cognizant of supporting the person making the safe, cautious decision. So we're implementing a 2 yeses to go, but 1 no means no rule. And I mean, we've tried to do that in the past, but
it's going to be strict this year.
A little bit stricter this time around.
Of course, we also created baby-specific rules, like life jackets every time she's on deck or in the dinghy, and a harness and tether whenever we are underway or whenever it is practical. 1 adult always on full-time baby duty while sailing. All maneuvers start after the baby is secured, and when we have to take longer passages, normally Nora and I would hop off, just not this time. So now we are on Lastovo, ready to set sail for Italy early tomorrow. We've made a lot of new rules since becoming a sailing family, and apparently sometimes we break them.
Leaving Lastovo this morning. It's about 5 a.m. I wish I'd spent more time here because it's really beautiful. It's sort of this wild national park without any development. But we're just using it as a stepping stone to Italy. The girls are still asleep, seeing how far I can get toward Italy before they wake up. And hopefully we'll get there this afternoon. Soon the sun starts to rise, and so do the crew. After weeks in the sheltered waters of Croatia's islands, we've grown a bit soft, and a rolling morning swell has everyone looking a little green around the gills. As we sail farther from land, the last flicker of mobile signal vanishes, and foolishly we're not tuned in to the VHF for weather updates. Unbeknownst to us, the forecast has changed drastically. Halfway into the journey, the breeze stiffens. Now 6 hours from Italy and 6 hours from Croatia, we have no option but to press on. Kelly keeps Nora distracted and happy below deck, while I try to keep us on course above. About halfway through the crossing to Italy, and definitely a bit worse than we thought it was going to be. The morning was not too blowy, but a rolling swell, and all three of us are really crook. And now this afternoon the wind's picked up, blowing about 30 knots right now. So we're pretty heavily furled, but it's not super pleasant. So probably made a mistake. But the good news is we should get in a little bit earlier than expected. Probably get there in the next 5 hours or so, and think about what we might do differently next time. After 5 rough and stressful hours, we finally wash up in Vieste, on the spur of Italy's boot. It's not our proudest landing, but we're in one piece, and that's a win.
So we did make it.
Barely.
But it was a pretty harrowing experience. 4-7. Well, started off okay. It was pretty light wind when we set sail.
And it dropped away?
And dropped away for a bit, put the sails up, was motoring, a bit of rolly swell. We all got quite sick, all three of us got really sick actually. And then midday?
Just full on.
Just 4-7, swell built all day. And by the time we got to Bari, pretty shaken. And had to moor in 25-30 knots. That was also not fun.
An adventure.
We couldn't fell the Genoa, so we had to go sort that out at the front of the boat in the waves. That was also fun.
But we learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Rules are not meant to be broken.
Yeah, there was a reason we had the rules. So why not do that again? Not immediately anyway.
Nor did. She's fared the best of all of us though.
She was probably...
She sat in her little car seat and did not cry at all. She
threw up a little bit in the morning.
Yeah, for the last 6 hours she was at the gym.
Yeah, she handled it like a champ. Yeah, just misjudged that weather window. The next lot of weather came early, so swung around to be a northerly, but was a lot stronger than we anticipated. We're here though. We're in one piece.
Pizza and wine. Here
Pizza
we
and
go.
wine time, we earned it.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to chastise us in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.